y'all. This is my 10-week update. I'm trying on babycenter.com because, you know, I look at that every week. The baby is a little over an inch, about an inch and a quarter, and is the size of a kumquat, which I had to look at the picture because I've never seen a kumquat. Anyway, it's like this big-ish, like a little bit bigger than a grape, which is what the baby was the size of last week. So Jim Bob is growing, and I feel like I'm growing, not a lot, but I read that my uterus is about the size of a grapefruit, and I can tell, like I can feel the firmness on my belly where it's all growing. So the nausea is a lot better this last week. I got really lightheaded the other day when I was shopping with my husband, and like we were in the checkout at Ross, and I had to go and sit down because I just thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to pass out. But other than that, I've been feeling okay. The biggest thing probably to talk about is right now the home birth situation. Which, if you remember, I did not do an 8-week vlog. Well, I did one, but I couldn't get it to upload. Basically, the whole vlog was a big rant, and, well, not really a rant, but venting and, you know, some stress about that. Micah has kind of gone along with the idea of the home birth, and, you know, it wasn't his first choice, but, you know, he was okay with it. It was what I wanted. And then he, slowly as time has gone along, he's slowly voiced his concern. Yeah, that it's, you know, he's really not all that okay with it. I've tried to show him, you know, the research that's out there, and, you know, it's just not something that we can come to an agreement on. He's not telling me what I have to do. But at the same time, his opinion is important enough to me that I'm going to consider it, and that is going to be how we come up with the ultimate plan of what we're going to do as far as the birth of our baby. I'm not the type of wife to be like, well, it's my body, my birth, my body, I'm going to do exactly what I want. Because, you know, he's my husband, I value what he thinks, and, you know, we just want to come to a decision, you know, and something that makes both of us happy. And I had to really sit down and think about what it was about a home birth that I really want. And the main things, you know, I want pain meds to not be an option, because it's like crack. If you are in pain and having an itch for it and you need it and it's available, you're gonna go for the crack. So that was one of my reasons. Like, if it's like just not available, like at a halfway house with my home birth, then I don't have to have the crack. I could do without the epidural. So that was one of the reasons that I wanted a home birth. Come here, buddy. Stinker. He has a runny nose. Also, I wanted as many support people with me. You know, it wasn't like at home with a home birth I was going to throw a big, huge party and have like 20 people over, and, you know, we were like going to have a cookout out on the patio after I had the baby. So it wasn't like that, but I wanted whoever I wanted there. And I also wanted the freedom to be able to video and take pictures of whatever it is that I want. And also, just the general freedom to move around and not be, like, strapped to a bed. Because if I'm going natural, I'm not just going to want to lay there flat on my back. I did that with him, and it was awful. And so when I was in transition, I wanted an epidural. And I don't know why, but they gave it to me. And it could have been a better experience if I had more ways to cope with my labor with him. And I just didn't, because I had internal fetal monitors, and I mean, I was confined to a bed. I had a catheter. It was just bad, and I don't want those things. I want to be able to move around. So anyway, Micah and I have been having this discussion, home birth. He's just, okay, Micah can't watch Nip Tuck. It's one of his favorite shows, and he couldn't watch it without closing his eyes during the surgery. So that kind of stuff scares him. He's squeamish with it. Blood and guts, he just doesn't do well. And so that was one of the reasons, like, home birth it just, as much as it is something that I really want, it is just something that is hard for him to handle. And I understand that, you know. If people have different personalities, and it's not crazy for him to feel that way. So anyway, I had a consultation. Are you playing with that Barbie? Kiss her? You need to kiss her? Mwah! Thank you. We're playing Barbies, apparently. Here, go play. Have fun. Have a ball. So anyway, I had a consultation today with an OB. What's funny about it is I already had a doctor's appointment set up with her for next week. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and she was like, well, who is your doctor? And I told her, and she was like, oh, that's my cousin. That's just who delivered my baby 8 weeks ago, and I love her. And, you know, granted, they're family, so of course she loves her. But it did, you know, there was a personal connection there, and that, you know, that was reassuring. I mean, I don't know. It made me feel good. Anyway, the questions that I asked her at our consultation today was what her philosophy was on pregnancy and birth, as far as it being a medical process and a natural process. And she, you know, she was like, it is a natural process. It's you know, something that God gives us, that women, we are able to do. And she was totally supportive with the whole natural birth. But she says, as a doctor, and, you know, things that she has seen come into the hospital from home births in our area, you know, things that require transport, you know, just the safer option is, not in all cases, but in her professional opinion, you know, the safest place was in a hospital. And, you know, that's what I want. I wanted her honest opinion. I told a lot of people, like, as far, my philosophy on the home birth was, some people want to jump out of an airplane and go skydiving before they die, and I wanted a home birth. Skydiving, you try to make it as safe as possible before you go and jump out of that airplane. And so, having a baby at home, you know, there are certain things about it that I wouldn't have the safety that I would prefer to have at home. And I'm not going to debate that with anybody. It's just a personal thing. I don't think that I need to be hooked up to monitors 24/7. It's not something that necessarily that I want. But there are things that can happen, you know, during childbirth. And I mean, I get that. It is a reality. And at the same time, it's a reality that sometimes bad things happen in a hospital. I think if you empower yourself as a patient, and you're educated, and you know when to tell a doctor no, and you know when to say, yes, I agree with you, this is medically necessary, that a hospital birth, you know, is perfectly safe. It just depends on what you're comfortable with, and, you know, if you're educated. Which I think I was completely uneducated in things whenever I had my first two. You know, I was just young, and, oh, this is how you do it? Okay, I'll just do it that way. You just go along with it. Anyway, I also asked her no. Come here, buddy. No, you can't have the camera. I asked her how she felt about the use of Pitocin, and she said that that's something that she generally uses if you haven't progressed for several hours, as in like 4, 5, 6 hours. There's no progression. And in that case, I don't necessarily agree with that. In fact, that was probably one of the biggest issues probably that I had with our visit. But, I mean, if I'm stuck at 4 centimeters and I don't progress at all, I'm probably not in active labor. And I probably need to go home anyway, instead of using the Pitocin. If I'm at 9 centimeters and in agony, and I just, you know, and I'm just stuck there, then who knows, at that point in labor, that might be something that I want. And that's okay too. That does happen. I've actually had a cousin that was stuck at a 9 for 4 hours. I don't know for sure she ended up having Pitocin or not to hurry up and get the baby out. I'm not sure. But, you know, it does happen. And whenever you're at that beach well stage and you're in that much pain, you know, it might be